A New Jersey Superior Court judge ruled last week that a woman who sent a text message to her boyfriend while he was driving cannot be held liable for the motor vehicle accident he subsequently caused. My guest is retired Superior Court Judge Eugene M. Hyman, host of the Family Law Channel here on the Legal Broadcast Network. Judge Hyman, welcome back, and talk about what the judge is saying here, because he's not ruling on causation in this. It's
right. No, he never got to causation.
Yeah.
The first step is whether or not she had a duty. That is, had a duty, one, to know whether or not he was driving, and assuming that she even knew that he was driving, whether she had a duty not to text him, because even if she sent him a text, that was up to him, whether that is the driver, whether to read it or not. So the judge found by his ruling, that is granting a motion for summary judgment, that there was no duty. She had no responsibility to not text him.
Okay, and so the two people who were injured in this accident actually had some limbs amputated, and it was a severe accident, and they had a long recovery time here.
Correct.
The attorney for them opted to add the woman into the lawsuit.
Correct.
To get obviously some more liability from the insurance company.
Correct.
So the judge is also talking about here, saying that if he ruled, in favor of this, then it would open up a Pandora's box of other liability for all kinds of distractions. Is that something you agree with too?
Well, yes. That's true, but that doesn't change the fact that you don't make a ruling because of concerns about how that ruling might affect necessarily other kinds of situations. Your ruling is made based upon the facts of that particular case, and based upon the facts of this particular case, she had no duty as a matter of law. Because, number one, even because the way it was pled by the plaintiff's attorney, that she knew or should have known that the boyfriend was driving. Well, I guess the reason that she should have known was because of his prior texting, or because of his prior habits, that she would reasonably know that he was on the road. But again, the ultimate responsibility goes to the driver, because he has the choice whether or not to read the text. While granted, a lot of us, when we hear that bing indicating that a text has arrived, or that an email has arrived, if our phones are set up that way, or our office computers, for that matter, are set up that way, there's a real temptation to want to view that message, whether it's a text or an email. But the reality is, you still have that responsibility, whether you're going to read it or not.
Right. And I guess you could say the same thing for billboard companies. They know that people driving are supposed to be driving, and that they probably shouldn't be looking at billboards, but that's why they're up, just so that people will look at them. So,
well, and the other, to take that one step further, people in supermarkets that have slip and falls, I'm sure have tried to sue products that had been placed at certain levels so that you would be allegedly distracted, and as a result, you might slip and fall. You still have that responsibility. Well, first of all, the store owner has the responsibility to keep the floors and the aisles, from being slippery or defective in some way. But absent that, you still have a responsibility to look and to reasonably be able to identify hazards and to avoid them. Just because if you see a puddle on the floor in a supermarket, you can't say, hey, they have the responsibility to keep that floor dry, and I'm going to go ahead and walk through it, and if I fall, they're responsible. While I respect the plaintiff's attorney for trying to be creative in terms of finding a way to compensate their clients who have been horribly injured, certainly I respect that. But the reality is that the sole responsibility had to do with the driver. People are trying to hold car manufacturers responsible. Well, why don't they have a system that disables people from receiving text, or the ability to send text, or the ability, unless they have Bluetooth, the ability to to receive or send telephone calls. I mean, another way to look at it is how come everyone doesn't have a program that would, with respect to a text, that would allow you to have it read to you by a computer and also allow you to dictate. That there are such programs, but the average person doesn't have them.
Finally, to talk about New Jersey, do we know if New Jersey has a law against texting while driving, and would that, if so, would that have any bearing on this?
I don't know, but it would not have a bearing on the responsibility of the driver, or to make the girlfriend responsible civilly, because again, the burden is on the driver whether or not he wants to look at it, and he has the responsibility to not be distracted.
And we enjoy you spending time with us, Judge Hyman. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, this is the Family Law Channel, an affiliate here of the Legal Broadcast Network.